Johnny Boy channel where I bring you trending news topics daily. Today's topics are going to be about why are the prices jumping up, right? Things are getting more expensive. 65-year-old man was paralyzed. Now he can write stuff with his brain. The Pfizer vaccine is going to be approved for 12 to 15-year-olds. Ellen DeGeneres is retiring from her show. And Republicans reject the tax increases that the Biden infrastructure package is expected to pass. And the stock market is sliding. Should you bail? Those are going to be some of the topics that are going around right now. Let's get it going. All right, guys. It's on everybody's mind, right? Should we get out of the stock market right now? Answer is, my personal opinion, no. Why is that? I'm going to give you some reasons, right, man? So right now, I'll give you the bad news, right? The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 400 points. That is quite a bit, man. And the S&P is down 1.5%. Man, can it get any worse than that? Bear with me, okay? The inflation is keeping investors on edge. Why is it keeping them on edge, right? Well, they're not getting the same returns that they would before the inflation kicked in, right? What does that mean? On average, every year, inflation goes up 3%. So when you put your money in a 401k or you go into invest it, that's what you got to keep in mind is that, will this money grow 3% every year to accommodate inflation? That's the rule of thumb. And if you can't get that 3%, well, then you're losing money. And if you're losing money, your brokers are losing money. And they don't like to lose money. They make money because you make money, in theory. But let's see, right? Is it too soon to panic? My personal opinion, nah. The investors are telling us not to panic. Now, that's kind of a little nerve-wracking, right? Because when the COVID came out, the government said, don't panic. And everybody started panicking. So right now, there's a lot of paper investors. They're just dumping their stocks. Why? Because they want to cash out now. That cash ain't going to do you no good if inflation's going up. Just is what it is, right? Now, the economy is not recovering as fast as most people thought it was going to. And the jobs report came out lower than expected. So that's another reason why the stock market's not looking too good right now. That worries investors. You know, that means that, hey, man, your company's not going to be worth a lot of money if you can't get enough people to put your products out there. That's really what they're kind of looking at. That's one of the factors. Another factor is how much it's costing for you to run your business. And, you know, and if you're upside down, it's going to be hard to kind of get out of that. Good news, right? I'll give you some good news, guys. As of January of 2020, this year, or last year, the S&P 500 had a return of at least 20%. That's pretty good, man. Now, of course, that was during the whole COVID deal, so you would think that you would have a bad year. No, not at all. And meaning, right, so just to put this as an example, if you had $10,000 investment into the stock market, it would grow about $13,000. So, you know, I mean, it's better than what you're going to get putting in a savings account. So, you know, take it for what it is. I don't think anybody should freak out about it right now, but I'll read a few things that I pulled up. Let's see. Cost of living is going up. Investment returns also need to go up. That's another reason why the stock market is not doing too good, right? And they also don't want, the investors don't want to earn less. You know, that's another reason why. But here's a cool little fact. Between 1900 and 2017, the average annual return on stocks has been around 11%, according to the calculations by Stephen Hanke, a professor at the Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. And adjusting for inflation, the average annual return was about 8%. So if you put your money into the stock market back then up until now, you've gotten a pretty good money return, man. So, you know, I don't think anybody should be freaking out. But right now is a good time to buy because a lot of stocks are down, and it's just history, man. When things are down, it's always going to go back up, in theory, right? So let's talk about the next topic. The infrastructure package that Biden was trying to pass. So he invited some key leaders into the Oval Office to try to like hash things out. Didn't work out too well. Let's see. So they're trying to get the, let me see, $174 billion allocated for electric cars. That's one, and another $80 billion for the IRS. That's one. That's part of the package, right? But the overall package is $2.3 trillion. $2.3 trillion, right? And they want this $2.3 trillion to be paid out over 8 years. So that's kind of forecasting pretty far out. And if another president comes in after his 4-year term is up, you know, it's kind of be hard to kind of keep leveraging that. But He's pretty serious about it. I mean, he campaigned on it, and he also wants to cover this increase the $2.3 trillion package by raising the corporate tax rate, as well as raising your taxes if you're a high income earner and if you've had capital gains. So all that money you made in the stock market, if you cashed out on your dog coin when became a millionaire one night, you ain't gonna be able to do that for long, earning as much money as you can, because he's gonna raise those capital gains up quite a bit. And if you sell your house and you get some pretty good capital gains, he's gonna raise that on you too, man. So it's gonna be kind of hard for those high income earners, right? But if there's one thing we've learned in history, is that the rich who make a lot of money don't pay that much in taxes, and it's not because uh, they're forced to not pay it, but because they're just smart enough to get around the red tape, and we just simply can't afford the attorneys to do that for us. So I'd suggest getting a book and try looking into it, but it is pretty extensive, right? But let's see here. Kind of mentioned that already. So yeah, they want to allocate 174 billion for the electric car uh, push out, and not a lot of people are happy about that. Mostly Republicans. And then Biden also wants to give the IRS $80 billion to help their efforts in collecting owed taxes. That's a little nerve wracking, right? IRS, they do not play, and Uncle Sam loves his money, right? But with inflation and labor shortage, it's worrying a lot of Republicans about as much money as they're putting in, right? Because the reason why we're going into inflation is because we keep pumping money into the system, and it's just natural. Things are not going to, your dollar's not going to be worth as much if there's more of it out there, you know? So keep your eye out for that. Republicans, I'll just say a little few quotes from these guys, right? Uh, Both sides don't want to borrow any money. So how are they going to get that money? By making us taxpayers pay it, is what it is. And then just recently, they've been trying to talk it out, hashing out. Pelosi's trying to get this plan passed in the House by July 4th and then send it into the Senate, which then again, may not pass, but it's worth a shot. And just to give you an idea, they want to raise the corporate tax rate to 28% from 21. That 21% came from Trump when he was in office. He lowered it to 21%. Now they want to raise it back up. Is it a good idea? I don't know. But it doesn't seem too good if you got to pay more taxes, right? So in the end, we'll see how it goes, right? All right, let's see right here. Ellen DeGeneres, right? She's retiring. She's retiring after a lot of people lashing out against her, man, right? One of which was because she had a toxic work environment, and some whistleblowers came out and mentioned it, and she looked pretty upset about it. She went on national television to apologize, but in the end, I think she just doesn't want to do it. One of which is she quotes and says, "When you're a creative person and you constantly need to be challenged, and as great as the show is and as fun as it is, it's just not challenging anymore." Can anybody relate to that, right? Constantly setting the bar and then trying to beat that bar every time. It's like telling a salesman, "Man, good job. You made $1 million this year. Now I need $2 million." And you keep beating that bar to the point where you're at $10 million. There's going to be a point where you just cannot do it anymore. But they want her to come back, man. And one of which was she was going to retire after season 16. But after some talking and negotiation with the producers of the network that she was at, she signed on for 3 more years. And, that was a settlement, of course. She wanted to do 1, and then they said, "Well, no, we can't do that. We need more of a commitment because the people that back us aren't going to really go for it." And so she said, "Fine, I'll do 3 years." And so they gave it to her. And then she got kind of teary-eyed when, she was going to stop at season 19 and saw everybody kind of crying and whatnot. But, I think she's ready to get on with her life, man. Why is that, right? Well, Ellen will end her show next season. And just for future reference, she's done a lot with this show, man. She does over 180 shows a year. She's done over 3,000 shows and hosted over 2,400 celebrities. That's quite a bit, man. I think she's seen a lot more people than anybody would, I came in there, in my opinion. She's earned 64 daytime Emmys. That's pretty crazy. And she's on numerous of films and documentaries, some of which are on Discovery. She's doing a stand-up again. And so I think she's just trying to open this new chapter and move on with her life. She's just ready to get done with the whole TV morning stuff, But she's been on the Ellen Show for nearly 20 years, or at least hosting it for 20 years. She's given over 70 million to charity. That's quite a bit, and she's given 300 million in audience giveaways. That is insane, right? Now, of course, we all know that her career almost ended back in 1997 when she came out on the Times cover saying that she was gay. Ended up working out for her in her favor, right? And she's been doing very well since. So I wish her all the luck, and I hope that she has great success with her future endeavors. And I personally never watched the Ellen Show, but I hear it's pretty good. So, maybe you can write in the comments what it was like to watch her. Let's see here, right? So the government has been wanting to approve vaccine shots, the COVID vaccine shots for 12 to 15-year-olds, and they're going to go ahead and do it, right? One of which is Virginia and Maryland. They're going to be preparing at least 1 million shots for those particular age groups. And a survey shows that at least 60% of the parents will vaccinate their children there. That was a survey done by the Virginia Commonwealth University. So, I mean, that's over half the population, I would think, that are going to vaccinate their children. The government, maybe by September, allow children as young as 6 months to get vaccinated. That's pretty young, man. And currently there's no mandate to get vaccinated. Will there be? Who knows, right? I mean, they're already requesting that you have your vaccine card to get on cruise ships and then come back into the country. But, I think Alex Jones had talked about this way before they even mentioned cards and there was going to be extra viruses that were going out. And I hate to say it, man, that guy, he is a little loony sometimes, but either he's very lucky in predicting these things or he's got an inside source because it's down to the T on how he predicted that. So it was a little crazy. Just keep that in mind. But, they're going to keep the mask mandates going on and they might lift some social gathering requirements up. But in the end, if the government says we can't take our masks off, then we can't do it. That's got to say something, right? I mean, we're doing everything we can as Americans to keep the rates down, but just seems like every day it gets worse for us. All right, moving on. So, this one is crazy. It's a tech deal, man. This is going around. A 65-year-old man was paralyzed from the neck down. And why, I'm not too sure, right? But some very smart people at the Neural Prosthetics Translational Laboratory at Stanford University have created a chip that were placed in a specific part of your brain and connected to a very strong computer will be able to write a sentence faster than me and you can write, and he's doing it all with his mind. That's crazy, right? That's like Stephen Hopkins, I think that's his name. I might be getting that wrong, but he's setting the standard, right? Now, of course, back then they had a robotic arm that was showcased back in 2012, and was able to do sophisticated things like moving and picking up things all with the brain. So the guys were paralyzed and they were able to still do normal functions. Now they're even talking about expanding that and where people couldn't control their limbs or can't because of an accident. There may be a way to connect that somehow back to your brain using that chip to allow you to do stuff like that. Now, man, we're in 2021. Who is to think that in 2022 it's not going to get any better? I think so. But anyways, this system is 95% accurate. 95% accurate. I can't even write a sentence without messing up grammars or punctuation, right? And I sometimes forget how to spell words, and this system is way smarter than me. That's insane, right? What's the bad news about it? There's so many good things. You can write words as fast as any person on the planet can. Bad news is it's a highly invasive surgery, meaning it is brain surgery. They're going to have to get into your brain and place it somewhere, and that requires time and money. Now, it's primarily sensors, but it's an implant in reality, and you need a very strong computer to compute this. You can't go out to Best Buy and get a computer and hook it up or go through Bluetooth, right? It needs a very strong computer to be able to compute all these inputs that you're doing with your brain. But also it requires a technician to set up, and this technician has to monitor that. And the computer also has to learn your cognitive nuances, meaning that it has to learn you as a person to see how it's going to turn out. and that's the bad thing. Uh, if if I had to count on AI to do most of my things, it's crazy because AI is all around us and it's constantly learning. So it's I'm pretty sure it's going to get pretty far advanced down the road. But that's just some pretty cool stuff, man. Some tech stuff that's going on. Also, as well too, is the consumer prices are going up. Have you noticed it? Right? Went out to the store the other day and I saw my same cereal that I always buy was a little bit more. Taco Tuesdays at the Roses Cafe was up 10 cents. Man, it's not 77 cents or $7.77 anymore. Now it's $7.88. So prices are going up, and these are everyday items that we're using. Why is that? Inflation, right? Inflation's happening because it's harder for the companies to get a hold of these critical items that they need to make their products. Now, in April, the consumer prices have surged up to 4.2%, man. That's quite a bit. To give you an example, back in 2008 with the real estate collapse, where we had to bail out the banks, right? They were loaning people houses and whatnot. That was 4.9% back then, as far as prices going up. So it's put it in perspective, man. It's getting pretty bad. And they're rising monthly on a 0.8%. So if you expedify that all the way out to December, it's going to get way higher than that 4.2% that they're predicting. And prices are increasing. Affected range of goods from big ticket items such as cars, kitchen staples such as bacon, and your airfares and hotel prices have also jumped up. And a lot of people are cash flush right now because they weren't able to do anything during the lockdown, if you were lucky enough, and they're wanting to spend money. Only problem is not a lot of stuff to go around. And some other examples is, like I was saying, Kellogg's has raised their prices on cereal, and everyday items like Coca-Cola and fuel. That's all going up. Now, the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, has argued that these increases are going to be short-lived and maybe might start going down later on towards the end of the year, but he's insisting that it's going to get better. Doesn't look like it, in my opinion. But what's on everybody's mind, right? How long will this last? I'll get to that in a minute. Just some other things to point out, right? Uh, the government has pumped trillions of dollars into the economy. Now, that's another big reason why we're having to pay more for stuff. I remember I read an article, and in the front of it, there was a guy with a wheelbarrow, and I'm kid you not, man, it was stacked up full of cash. Full, man. And he had a sign in front of him that said, "I'm a millionaire, but I have millions of dollars, but I'm not a millionaire." That's how bad it can get when inflation just runs its course, right? And things start just costing ridiculous amounts of money. And I think there was another country, I can't remember, man. I think it's either Colombia or Brazil, where the same deal, man. It costs too much money to buy everyday items like toilet paper and food. I think if you put it in terms, like I think to buy an apple was like $10 or $15. Just because of that. But the question was right. How long will this last? Maybe all summer and even into the fall. So expect prices to be at where they're at and probably get even higher all the way up until December and maybe steady out in 2022. Now, that's a little scary, but I promise y'all guys, don't get too crazy. Don't think about it too much. And if it don't get better by 2022, we can all raise hell and say, you need to lower my Coca-Cola prices. I like my soda. Something to touch on as well, the Derek Chauvin trial, right? Now, he was just recently convicted. They're going to be leading into a sentencing phase. And, of course, we don't know, right, if nobody knows already that Floyd was killed by this guy. He was kneed on the neck for an extended amount of time, which in the end suffocated him, and he died right in front of everybody. And luckily somebody recorded that, and that was really the last nail in the coffin for this guy. It's unfortunate, though, right, because it's his first time getting in trouble with something like that, something serious. And a lot of times if you get in trouble for the first time on a serious offense, regardless, you get a much more lenient sentence. And they're saying that guidelines only recommend 12 years in prison for each murder charge instead of getting the 25 years like he was supposed to get. Now, the judge is going to decide that whether or not down the road. But, you know, who's to say what's going to happen? But, man, this guy is constantly fighting legal battles, right, because of what he did in the past. And I think he just gives police a bad name. I think everybody who saw that video could say, man, that was unnecessary, right? And there's some good cops out there, and of course there's some bad cops out there. Just like there's some good Wall Street investors out there, and there's some bad ones, right? Just like there's some good politicians out there, and there's some bad ones. There's always going to be a bad apple, right? Now, let's see. They allegedly, back in 2007, he had violated the constitutional rights of a 14-year-old back in, like I was saying, September of 2017 for using unreasonable force. Man, dude, it's just stacking up on this guy. And I think he's going to get some time, and he might be like 80 years old by the time he gets out of jail. And by then, we probably will be having flying cars, and he'll be way behind us. But that's it. That's all I got for y'all. That was the trending news for today. Tomorrow, I'll bring y'all some new stuff. If you like this video, man, hit that like button and subscribe so that you can see the videos that I post daily. Until next time, guys, see you later.